Lucille Ball once revealed the names of 6 actors she allegedly had affairs with. 6 men whose identities have been whispered about in Hollywood for decades. And behind the flame-red hair, behind the iconic laugh that made America fall in love, behind the woman who changed the entire television industry, lives someone far more complicated than the character she played for years. Lucille Ball appeared in millions of homes as the sweet, scatterbrained, lovable Lucy Ricardo. But the woman behind the character did not always live in a world of sitcom simplicity. Her real story is a tapestry of ambition, heartache, betrayal, private longing, and choices that would have destroyed her career if even one rumor had escaped into public view during her prime. Hollywood worked very hard to keep her secrets hidden. Studio executives, publicists, agents, assistants, everyone knew that the wrong headline could shatter a star overnight. But now, decades after her passing, as old letters surface, unpublished memoirs emerge, and the last living insiders speak freely before their time runs out, the truth that surrounded Lucille Ball's personal life has begun to take shape. What you're about to hear reveals a woman far more passionate, far more conflicted, and far more human than the world ever imagined. These 6 alleged affairs paint a picture of a woman trying desperately to balance her public image with her private desires, while trapped in a turbulent marriage with a man she adored, but who repeatedly broke her heart. By the time you finish this story, you'll understand why Lucille Ball once told a close friend, "People think they know my love story. They don't know the half of it." And you may never see an episode of I Love Lucy the same way again. 1. Henry Fonda, the gentleman who saw her soul. In the 1930s, before the fame, before the empire she would later build, Lucille Ball was just another contract player at RKO Studios, working long hours, hoping for better roles, and trying to stand out in a town filled with beautiful women. It was during these years that she first crossed paths with Henry Fonda. Fonda was already respected, quiet, thoughtful, known for his integrity, and according to several people who worked on RKO sets, the chemistry between the 2 actors was visible almost instantly. A wardrobe assistant from that era later whispered, "Henry was the first man who made her feel seen." At a time when most actresses were treated like decorative props, Fonda talked to Lucy about books, ideas, comedy techniques, and the craft of acting itself. That kind of attention was rare for her. Irresistible, even both were married. Both were careful, but insiders claimed the pull between them was undeniable and for a brief time, impossible for either to resist. Their alleged affair was discreet and short-lived, but the emotional imprint lasted decades. Lucy spoke of Fonda with a softness that her friends never forgot. She respected him deeply. She admired the way he navigated Hollywood without losing his sense of self. And whenever his name was brought up in later years, Lucy's face reportedly softened in a way that said more than words ever could. This relationship, real or rumored, gave Lucy something she had desperately wanted in her early Hollywood days: to be treated as more than a pretty face, and that feeling would shape her romantic decisions for years to come. 2. Orson Welles, the dangerous genius who lit a spark. If Henry Fonda awakened Lucy's intellect, Orson Welles ignited something far more volatile. During the early 1940s, Welles was Hollywood's young mastermind, the man behind Citizen Kane, the daring innovator who terrified studio executives and fascinated everyone else. Lucy and Welles were often seen having long lunches, intense conversations, and private meetings that sparked more than a little curiosity. One actor from the Mercury Theater later said, "Orson loved her mind, her timing, her instincts. He saw her genius before anyone else did." But this connection caused problems, especially for Desi Arnaz. According to people who worked inside Desi, Desi was noticeably jealous whenever Welles appeared. He asked questions, he demanded details, he paced, he fumed. And yet Welles himself never denied the closeness. He simply said, "Some connections are too meaningful to turn into gossip," and refused to explain further. Whether or not they were romantically involved, one fact remains undeniable. Lucy changed after meeting Orson. She began taking charge of her career. She questioned directors, she demanded rewrites, she stood taller in meetings. It was as if she had been given permission to step into the power she had always possessed, but had never fully claimed. Multiple historians believe that the Lucy who eventually became the first woman in Hollywood to run a major studio was shaped, at least in part, by her time with Orson Welles. He wasn't just a rumored lover. He was a spark, a catalyst, an awakening. 3. Robert Mitchum, the rebel who reflected her pain. By the early 1950s, I Love Lucy dominated television. America saw a cheerful, devoted housewife behind the scenes. Lucy was living with the emotional wounds of Desi Arnaz's constant infidelity. Enter Robert Mitchum, cool, quiet, mysterious, and absolutely notorious. Insiders claim that Lucy and Mitchum crossed paths at industry events, drawn to each other with a magnetism that neither hid very well. Mitchum had a habit of falling into affairs, and Lucy, hurt, lonely, and frustrated, may have been vulnerable to his stormy charm. One production assistant said, "He was everything Desi wasn't: calm, steady, the kind of man who didn't need a spotlight to feel important." Their alleged romance ended quickly, but not quietly within Hollywood circles. Mitchum's niece later wrote that he kept a photo of Lucy tucked away in his private desk drawer, signed with a cryptic message: "Some storms are worth getting caught in." This was the affair people whispered about the most, the one that felt dangerous, the one that felt like it could have destroyed everything. Because during this time, Lucy's image was spotless, and the mere hint of scandal could have ended her career overnight. 4. John Wayne, the unexpected comfort. John Wayne and Lucille Ball seemed like complete opposites. He was the rugged cowboy. She was the comedic powerhouse. But life behind the scenes is often stranger than the movies. According to an unpublished memoir by gossip columnist Hedda Hopper and the private notes of a studio driver, Lucy and Wayne shared a brief, mutual, no-strings-attached connection during a period when both were struggling personally. It wasn't passionate chaos. It wasn't emotional fireworks. It was two hard-working stars finding comfort during a lonely moment in their lives. Those who saw them together on the set of The Lucy Show in 1966 noticed a warm familiarity between them, far too natural to have formed overnight. Wayne whispered something that made Lucy laugh, not her scripted television laugh, but her real one. The one only her closest friends ever experienced. Lucy later called Wayne a true gentleman, and the knowing smile that followed suggested there was more behind those words than casual respect. 5. The unnamed CBS executive, the affair of power and revenge. This is the only alleged affair on the list rooted not in affection, not in passion, but in pain, and it is the most shocking of all. According to multiple longtime Desilu employees, Lucille Ball allegedly had a brief, calculated affair with a high-ranking CBS executive, someone close to Desi, someone he trusted, someone he would never suspect. Why? Because she needed leverage. After years of humiliation from Desi's cheating, Lucy was tired of feeling powerless, tired of crying alone, tired of pretending. A secretary later said, "It wasn't romance, it was survival." She needed something that put her back in control. Whatever happened between Lucy and this unnamed executive shifted the balance of power within her marriage. And within her career, suddenly her creative requests were approved. Budgets increased. The network stopped pushing back. Desi, usually bold and fiery, went quiet whenever the subject was mentioned. This alleged affair may have marked the moment Lucy stopped being a star and became a force. A woman no longer willing to be the one who suffered in silence. 6. Dean Martin, the late-life companion who understood her heart. After her divorce from Desi and during her marriage to Gary Morton, Lucy formed a deep connection with Dean Martin, one that friends described as warm, quiet, and grounded in mutual understanding. Dean and Lucy had both lived lives of extravagant highs and devastating lows. Both were aging icons. Both were trying to reinvent themselves while carrying the scars of Hollywood fame. Neighbors claimed Dean visited Lucy's home late at night. Friends noticed the way she lit up when he entered a room. And Dean's daughter revealed that Lucy had access to a private phone line that only a few people were allowed to use. This wasn't a wild romance. This wasn't scandalous. This was companionship. Two industry survivors finding a rare kind of comfort in each other. Comfort that didn't need labels, permission, or explanation. And Gary Morton, Lucy's husband, reportedly knew and did not object. Their marriage was unconventional, built on mutual respect rather than possessiveness. Dean Martin may have been Lucy's final emotional refuge, one that came long after the scandals, long after the heartbreak, long after the world stopped watching her every move. The woman behind the legend Lucille Ball passed away on April 26, 1989. And in her final interviews, when questions about affairs and romance were gently brought up, Lucy never denied, never confirmed. She merely smiled and said, "The world got my talent. Only a few got my heart." Were these affairs real? Hollywood insiders say yes. Letters, journals, testimonies, and memories all point to a woman who searched for respect, passion, stability, and understanding in places her marriage could not provide. But perhaps the truth is simpler. Lucille Ball was human, not the perfect housewife she played, not the flawless star studios tried to protect, but a complicated woman navigating fame, loneliness, betrayal, desire, and ambition. trying her best to carve out pieces of happiness wherever she found them. And maybe that is the most honest legacy of all, because the greatest stars are often the ones who shine the brightest while quietly carrying the heaviest shadows.